I'd like to welcome all our guests and listeners to Data Magic. We're re-releasing this podcast for 2026, and I'm really honored to have this release happening on National AI Literacy Day. And I'm Tisha Peters, the project manager of Project Unicorn, and I'd like to introduce our guest today, Andrea Claver. Andrea, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Tisha. Thank you for having me today. Like you said, I'm Andrea Claver. In my previous work, I was a middle school teacher turned instructional technology coach in Arizona. So, in my role there, a lot of my work focused on vetting and approving digital tools for the classroom. So, looking at them for efficacy, data privacy and all of the important aspects to consider when bringing those tools into the K-12 ecosystem. And I now currently serve as the project manager for the EdSafe AI Alliance here at Innovate EDU.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. What a great experience to bring to the EdSafe AI Alliance. What problems are you currently trying to solve, Andrea?
So, in my work at EdSafe, we are driving the safe and effective use of AI in education through our SAFE framework. But an underlying thing I'm always trying to solve is making the procurement process clearer for K-12 districts. Like I said, in my previous experience, I served on the digital review and approval team for a district. We were a team of IT professionals, teaching and learning members, myself as instructional technology coach, and we had the capacity to look very deeply into the tools that our district wanted to use and really ensure we had the best ones in place. But as I talk to more districts, whether it be through professional learning communities or in my work with EdSafe, I know that not all districts have that type of robust team. And depending on the size of the district or their budget, they may not have all of the technical expertise needed to fully vet tools or know what to even look for. So I'm always trying to spread the word of key considerations with both EdTech and AI tools that should be used. So regardless of the expertise you have in the room, you have a clear path forward when going through procurement.
That's incredible. And you brought up procurement here, and it makes me think about the most recent project that the EdSafe AI Alliance and Project Unicorn collaborated on. We co-released the AI Data Use and Protection Toolkit back in December. And that leads me to thinking about what mistakes districts commonly make when evaluating EdTech tools, and how can indicators like these mitigate those risks?
Yeah, so I think the first thing I have seen is only paying attention to publicly available privacy policies or terms of service. And whether reading those closely or just kind of grazing over them to look for glaring issues with them, they don't give all of the information needed to know if it's truly a safe tool for the classroom or even if it's just a staff tool. So that's the first thing I always like to caution districts from is you got to dig a little deeper than that. And I think our AI data and protection use checklist helps to clarify that. So it really gives a clear picture of the look fors, especially when we're talking about AI tools, because they do go beyond a traditional data privacy agreement. There are so many other key aspects to consider. But when you're at the district level and you're juggling so many things, sometimes you're wearing three, four, maybe eight hats at one time. It's really hard to stay up to date with all of the considerations. I mean, even just looking at our checklist, it is a multi-page checklist. So imagine trying to do that on your own without having a place to start. there's just not enough time in the day to do so. So that checklist really gives those look fors. And if districts want to keep exploring, at least we've set them up with the foundation of things to consider that will truly keep their ecosystem state safe. And I say ecosystem because it's not just student data we're thinking of, it's staff data, it's the entire organization.
Yeah, you make a really good point too, that so many people are wearing so many hats and they just don't have the time in the day to think about these things. So I think that's really one of the benefits of the checklist. And then the worksheet that goes along with that is that they can easily open that worksheet. And then as they're meeting with vendors or reviewing those documents, they can just look at those questions and then kind of scan for, how are the tools that we're looking at using student data? Are they using it to train their models? How are we protecting our student information? And then all those other indicators and conversations in there. So thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, educators are constantly wearing multiple hats and we're really good at it, but it also means that we have to make decisions on how we use our time. So one thing that I love about working with your project is that you bring the AI lens, and Project Unicorn, of course, brings the interoperability and the data lens into the ed tech world. And now that those worlds are truly converging, I'd love to hear your perspective on how AI aligns with that interoperability, and really why should we care about that?
Absolutely. So obviously interoperability is important to all ed tech, but AI introduces a very unique lens. So, if we're speaking broadly of AI and EdTech in general, there's of course the data minimization piece. So, when we adopt a tool and we are setting it up for the district, interoperability really gives us a way to share only key information. So only the data that needs to be shared. I remember a few years ago, before everyone dove a little deeper into EdTech, we were sharing Excel files back and forth with companies.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, if it's in this file, it's out there and it's in all the servers, it's through all the channels it went through to get to where it needed to be. But with interoperability, we can really choose what data is shared, which is huge. It also, makes it easier for the teachers in the classroom because they know that their logins are set up. They know that it's going to be easy for their students to log in because it's following that same process they are for other applications because it's all coming from the same source. But also with AI specifically, there are a lot of tools out there that are allowing educators to customize their own chatbots or their own tools, whether it be for efficiency or student learning. And that's fantastic. But what's important to consider there is this world is always changing. So a tool that might be the best tool today might not be the best tool tomorrow. And when we think about that in terms of interoperability, it gives us the capability to take that tool and apply it to a new platform should we need to switch. So, taking that data, not losing the thing you've worked on because we've invested a lot of time in it, right? And really applying it to that new piece. So, it gives us the flexibility to not be locked in to one specific place and really use what's best for students and staff.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Mhm.
Well, do you have any current projects or upcoming projects or events that you want to share with the audience?
Of course. So we are going to be releasing a self-paced policy course for district schools and anyone really looking into AI policy. So be on the lookout for that coming from EdSafe in April. And then actually, Tisha and I will be speaking at the Harvard SDP convening in Cambridge, Massachusetts in May. So I'm really excited to partner with you on that and encourage anyone who's able to attend, or if you're a Harvard SDP fellow, definitely encourage you to attend our session. We'll be diving really deep into that AI data use and protection checklist there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Join us next time. Follow us on Podbean, on YouTube, or always come check us out on our website at projectunicorn.org. Thank you so much for your time.